Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the Backyard Gardens podcast.
If you like what we're doing and you want to continue to support the podcast, head over to our Patreon page to sign up.
You can also make a one-time donation using PayPal. Both of these links are in the description.
With your support, we can continue growing and helping others in their gardens. See ya.
Fact or fiction? Should you be talking to your plants to help them grow more? Is this true or is this fake? Right here on the Backyard Gardens podcast, Minisode.
To have a good harvest, one must plant good seeds and must also use the right kind of fertilizer. The carrots have grown large and firm. How good they will taste.
Welcome to the Backyard Gardens podcast, where we talk about all things gardening and give the information out for you to be successful in your garden, whether it's your first or your last. We are your hosts, Ben, the backyard gardener, and
Batavia, the front yard gardener.
one in the country,
One in the city.
Now get ready as we dig deep into this wonderful world of gardening as we learn to grow and grow for change. So, do you talk to your plants? I know you do, so it's a loaded question.
Well, no, I don't talk to every single plant as a practice.
Right.
I talk to troubled plants, and it's probably a little bit late, right, to provide that care. So if there's some problems with them, and I pretty much take full responsibility for all problems with my house plants. Like, it's basically...
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, it's the grower, it's, the plant mom. And then for outdoors, I don't talk as much to them when they're in the ground, but seedlings, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you whisper like sweet nursery rhymes to them and stuff like that and sing?
No, it's more of like I have a conversation and maybe they just hear what I say out loud.
Yeah.
So as a baseline, I talk to myself pretty often, right? So there's that.
Right.
And if I'm near plants and I'm thinking plant things, why not talk to them?
Yeah. See, I don't talk to my plant unless it's not doing good, and then I just proceed to cuss at it. So at that point, I berate it until it's just like, look, I just want to die. Like, I'm done. So, but I mean, the question is it true that if you talk to your plants that they will grow better? And where does this come from?
So I was looking into this, and this goes back hundreds of years, right? Did you find the same?
To the ancients.
Is that our new thing? Yeah, or our old thing?
That's our new thing, the ancients.
Yeah, so it's definitely ancient times as it goes back to. And so it's not as much the talking isn't like the myth. It's the vibrations that come from your voice, right? So sound.
Ooh.
Yeah? Yeah, you like that, don't you? Hold on.
I like it. That's not where I was going with it, but I like it.
Okay, well, come along with me. Now, where were you going?
Well, no, let's talk about that for a second, because that ties into playing music for your plants as well. So back in the not so ancients, the 70s, which are probably some listeners that are from that time frame, they actually did a study on it. And I read where they played different kinds of music. And if I'm not mistaken, it's been a long time since I read it, but it rings in my head. The rock music did the best, supposedly, and it came to the vibrations.
Yeah.
So everything is a vibration. Sound is a vibration. That's all it is.
Yeah,
So
I think I came across that same kind of study, and it was rock music, more like classical music, no sound.
Of course, it was classical.
Yeah, no sound whatsoever, right? And so, like you said, I read the same thing. The plants that were set up all in the same, like, spaces were separated. They were same plant, same setup. Music was the only thing that differed. Type of music or no music at all, right? And so the rocked plants performed better. But I also
damn right they did.
But I also read that there is some connection to the vibration bit, because in nature, right, plants have to get strong enough to kind of prepare for the elements, right? So we think wind, right? And clearly there's some sound to wind. There's that feeling, that vibration, if you will. So, I mean, I could get on board with this. I'm not ready to give my number of shovels yet, but,
No, me either, because I don't think... Hold on, I just lost my thought. Let me grab it. So when you go outside, it's not quiet ever. It's never dead silent. Like, even when you think it's silent, it's not silent. So for instance... yesterday I went and I got my pumpkins, and I mean, dude, this is pitiful. So we got pumpkins for Halloween, and they were 5 days ago now, and they're already rotten. And I went up to it, and all the little gnats were there, but all I heard was bzzz, just buzzing and buzzing. And it's like when you're standing far away from it, you're not hearing it. But I'm also used to hearing like Batavia's voice in my head all the time, and music and my son and all these other things. So I'm not in tune to like low levels of sound, but a plant would be. But where we differ in our thoughts is very important. So my thought is it's the carbon dioxide being emitted from our bodies that helps with the photosynthesis aspect of it.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. I mean,
there it is.
Yeah,
there it
yeah.
is. Don't roll your eyes out live in front of everybody.
But if that's your thought, then what about the rock music experiment? Because there isn't anyone present there, right?
Right. That's true. There is not. So, but again, we're talking about talking to them, not singing our music.
Okay.
So,
and two things can be true, right?
They can be. They can very well be true. So maybe this is a twofer. But yeah. So if you think about it, a plant brings in carbon dioxide and it releases oxygen. So if and we expel carbon dioxide when we talk. So if we're talking to our plants, in theory, we would, and especially with the pandemic and everything going on, we know that 6 feet away, you still are getting what comes out of our mouths. You know that you are spewing some amount of carbon dioxide onto the plant. So the theory would be that helps them grow even more. Yeah. But then to give them that extra boost.
You have to make the argument of, is it negligible? Like, how much, right? So then it's all right, there's probably at least... There's no harm done in talking to plants, and there's the potential of a benefit. But it's like, fertilizer, like how much do you need to add before it actually is beneficial to that plant?
Right.
Right. So how many hours are you talking to plants?
So here's the key. How many hours am I talking to my plants outdoors? But if I had my plants in an enclosed space and I was talking to them and the carbon dioxide was getting trapped, how much would that help it? That is the question I have.
Yeah, I may be ready to get off this train. I want to wait for I want to wait for the South Side Ale or something, because I may have just hit my limit when it comes to that train of thought.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, though, seriously, like right now it's going everywhere. But if you had a very enclosed space, I could see it being a very plausible that it would make a difference. But if you're sitting out in your garden and you're just like, hey, Mr. Tomato, you had a beautiful day today. Like you're not really directing it anywhere and it's just dispersing into the atmosphere anyways. Yeah. So there's that.
Well, that's still on the train of thought of the thing coming from us more than sound is beneficial for the plants, right? But then you could even look at it to say, and I think in general, the things I've read, it's been like plants that are indoors, like you're describing. But are we compensating for the thing that they would normally get in nature, right? Sounds and motion, right?
Right.
You're not going to get a rainstorm, hopefully not in your house. So,
well, if you sneeze.
So am I now trying to make up for something that these plants who really want to be outside aren't getting because they're, behind me in my office, or they're downstairs in the grow room, or somewhere in between, right?
Yeah, and I think this actually would pertain better to you, where indoor plants would benefit more from this than outdoor plants, I believe, personally. What do you think?
Well, yeah, because if we go along the lines of, we believe indoor plants really all belong outdoors, we've just brought them inside and trapped them, right? So they're inside, and now we have to, again, kind of compensate for the things they're missing. But like anything, you adjust and adapt, right? So when they first were brought in, and I won't even get into the idea of where they came from, the nursery, like a lot of these plants aren't plucked from outdoors and then brought into my home. That's not how that works, right? Right. But the idea is they've been brought to your home, and there's an adjustment period. Right. And so for this plant behind me, which is probably 3 or 4 years old, this fiddle fig leaf or fiddle leaf fig, whichever way it goes. Like when I first got it, let me talk to it. But now it's kind of like, I'm chill. I like the quiet in this room,
Right. Yeah.
Or, wait, I just had an aha moment. So I always comment around my indoor plants and how they suffer during the garden season because I'm outside so much, right? I'm outside tending to the garden. It didn't occur to me until this moment that maybe they suffer because they don't hear all of that. They don't hear my voice as often. Right. I'm not nurturing them as much. I'm not talking to them as much.
And I mean, if you think about it, you're also sitting in that room in the Backyard Gardens podcast recording and having meetings constantly. So you are, again, you're in an enclosed area. So it's plausible. Now, if you go along the lines of the carbon dioxide, did you see the study that came out recently about global warming and trees?
Wait, we're back to the carbon dioxide? I thought we got off that train.
Very quickly.
Okay, all right.
No, we're going to jump back
I'm still on the
quick.
platform.
We got one more stop.
No, I didn't.
You're on the platform. So apparently, and if you live in Florida, feel free to comment and let us know. Florida is talking about removing their palm trees in the coming years because they don't remove as much carbon dioxide out of the air. So an oak tree, I think the stat I read was it removes 486 pounds of carbon dioxide per year, where a palm tree removes 2 pounds per year. So, if you go along that, so it's the same idea as like this carbon dioxide is doing something. So the question is, for me, if I take it one step further, is global warming helping our plants grow better because we have an abundance of carbon dioxide in the air?
Or do we have the proper plants similar to what Florida's thinking about doing in nature, in our neighborhoods, in our communities to help aid global warming? So this is a Minisode. Like you're going to a place that requires like a full Thursday type episode, a full hour, right? And a recipe at the end, right? That's where you're going.
I know. I'm going there. That's okay. I'll pull back. So this train is officially stopped. So that being said, would you be willing to talk to your plants and see if they did any better?
Absolutely. But I think maybe a different question is, based on this dialogue and some of the things maybe we've both learned from each other in this, am I going to talk to my plants more?
True.
No more than normal.
Because we're not ready to give a rating yet. So let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's work through this because I would say that I'm not prepared to go out into my garden and like literally have conversations so passerbys could be like, look at that crazy guy out there. He's literally talking to his plants. So
I have no issue with that. That's not my apprehension.
Now I will go back. I'll go out there and play some music for him though. I would fall in line with that because I tend to believe I'm on the fence about both of them. So we have both aspects. We have vibration and we have carbon dioxide. And I believe that they both are meaningful because everything is a vibration. So
let me ask you this. When you're in the garden, do you normally have music playing?
Usually it's in my ear because I get better sound quality that way. But if I had like a speaker with better sound quality, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I would for sure have it going. So
I normally have my phone like tucked in somewhere. We're not going to talk about the wheres, but it's tucked in somewhere. And so the music is pretty close to my ear. And then obviously if I'm working on or near plants, pretty close to their ear as well. And I'm a singer, not like a talented singer, but I have no issues with singing. So they may be getting all of that from me. I'm just saying.
So everybody stay tuned for the next episode of the Backyard Garden podcast where Batavia will sing to us all. So that's going to happen for sure.
It's a good thing that you don't speak for me on the podcast and life in general. So
it does. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's a singer in their car, right?
Or in the shower.
So if you were in the shower for sure. So if you were going to rate this as the amount of shovels that you would do, yes, you for sure would use it. That's 5 shovels, 0 shovels you wouldn't. Which one would you do?
I'm going with.
Do you think?
I'm going with 5 all the way.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna go with a 2.
Really?
Really, I really am. I don't see enough of it. I mean, you can play music all day long, but really it's subjective. It's how much light did it get? How are you watering? What are your soil parameters? There's just too many variables in it for me to jump on board with it. And as far as the carbon dioxide goes, unless you're growing in an aquarium or something in a closed space, I could see that being, that is where you could do it. But otherwise, I don't see it.
I mean, my story is that most people don't think I'm sensitive. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but I kind of feel in this moment that that's like like you're not, it's like kind of a mean thing. Like you're basically like, I'm not going to talk to my plants. I don't know how.
I'm not. But how are you not going to say you're not sensitive? You cry on like every other episode of the podcast. Well, remember, how are you not sensitive?
I told you that's my story, right? I didn't say it was the truth. I didn't say it was. Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not the boss of you, but I'm not sure if I would have known you would have ended up here, I probably would have opted out of this episode because I'm feeling some kind of way. Agree? Yeah, I'm feeling some kind of way about you now.
Why is that? I can't be on board with everything.
No.
My scientific side of my brain on this side right here, that's why I shave my head, is telling me no.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not going to go down the road of which part of my brain is cued in here. But I'm going to go with and stand with 5 shovels.
5 shovels. So if we average them so I don't do math in public, but that would be like 3.5. So it's not bad.
I'll take it.
I mean, the question is, are you guys talking to your gardens? Or are you playing music to them, or are you doing both? That's the question. So let us know in the comments and all the fun places and all that stuff. But I don't know, man. I'm just not on board with this one.
All right. I mean, we'll see what happens with your indoor plants in your next year's garden. I'm just saying.
You know what? I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to say a word to my plants inside when I start my seedlings this year. I'm going to put duct tape on my mouth and be quiet the whole winter. So nobody talks around my plants. End of story.
Stubborn you are not.
Hey, look, it is what it is. All right, everybody. Thank you. We're going to be doing this series for a little while, so check us out. Backyard Gardens Podcast is available everywhere. That witch Carol says she loves on and kisses her plants. So awesome. Everybody be cool, stay safe, all that good stuff. And until next time.
See ya.
One of the most common questions we get asked is, what do we use in our gardens as far as products? Well, we have an Amazon list below that if you go to, you can see all of the products that we use and like and recommend, and you can buy them. And if you do, you support the podcast at no extra cost to you. So check out the link below for our Amazon store and help support the podcast and enjoy your gardens. Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you want to see what we're up to or just stay up to date on all the announcements regarding the show or anything gardening, then you can follow us on Instagram at Backyard Gardens TV.
We love seeing what you guys are doing, so use hashtag BYG Podcast in your posts, and we'll be sharing your gardens with the Backyard Gardens community.
And check us out on YouTube at Backyard Gardens, where we will post this show, all of our other shows, clips, and then also some gardening tips and just gardening entertainment. And you can see us at our website at backyardgardenstv.com. But that's it for today's show. So help us as we learn to grow and grow for change. And until next time, we'll catch you guys later. We'll call this one a wrap.
Now you know why people feel like celebrating at harvest time.
All over the world, people have feasting and good times when the crops have been gathered in.